Hey guys, it's John here. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden microcosmos of sea monkeys and other instant pets. In today's video, we'll be doing an unboxing and review of the notorious Sea Monkeys Marine Zoo kit. This set was released in 2011 by Big Time Toys. At first glance, it appears to be no different from a standard Sea Monkeys Ocean Zoo tank, but don't be fooled, this kit isn't quite what it seems on the surface. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video too for your chance to win your very own Sea Monkeys Ocean Zoo kit that I'll be giving away to one lucky viewer. The Marine Zoo differs from other sea monkey tanks in that the quality is uncharacteristically poor. You see, in 2011, Big Time Toys wanted to sell sea monkeys at Walmart, but they could only do so under one condition. They had to meet a lower price point to make sea monkeys more affordable. The unfortunate result of the deal is this, the Marine Zoo, which is basically a cheap imitation Ocean Zoo tank, but with some interesting quirks. I recently picked all of these up off eBay for around $15 each, which is a decent price considering they're around a decade old, but not all that surprising considering demand for them is still very low, so they're not too difficult to find. Superficially, the packaging for the set is fine. Up top we have the words, "The Amazing Life Sea Monkeys Marine Zoo." Coming down we have a small magnifying glass, the 3 pouches we need to start our colony, and of course the tank itself, which has an insert that features the iconic illustration of a baby sea monkey hatching from its egg. The aquarium came in 3 different colours, red, blue, and a very unique lime green, which I actually really like. Flipping over to the back, we have some aquatic illustrations of the classic sea monkeys with 3 antennae, and some simple instructions for starting our colony. Let's open it up to take a closer look at everything inside. I'm going to be setting up the lime green tank for this video, because it's the only sea monkey tank I've ever seen in this colorway before, so I'm quite excited to see it set up with an established sea monkey colony inside. As always, we have some paperwork with generic instructions. For some reason they've included 2 copies of the same thing in here. I'm not really sure if that's a mistake or not. There's also a dual scoop yellow feeding spoon, the 3 packets we need to start our tank, which seem to be in surprisingly good condition for their age, and also a small magnifying glass that's supposed to help us see our miniature pets a little more clearly. And here's the tank itself. The first impression is even worse than I was expecting. Describing the quality as poor is probably a bit of an understatement too. The plastic is very thin and flimsy. In fact, it feels like a cheap disposable cup you'd get at a party. The main body also separates from the base really easily, which is a bit concerning. I get the feeling it might make the tank quite easy to tip over. That being said, I actually really like the overall shape. It's a little more flattened out than an Ocean Zoo, which should make it really great for viewing your pets. The green lid pops off quite easily, but to be honest, the design of it isn't terrible. It has plenty of small holes for air circulation, which I think is important for maintaining good water quality. I also noticed that it has a recessed imprint of the Sea Monkeys website URL, which is not something I've ever seen on any other sea monkey tank before. Something interesting that distinguishes the Marine Zoo from a regular Ocean Zoo is its lack of magnifying bubbles. Usually these lenses are built into the tank itself, but the Marine Zoo provides a separate magnifying glass instead. I actually prefer this approach, as I've never been a huge fan of those convex bubbles on Ocean Zoo tanks. In my experience, they actually make viewing the pets more difficult, and filming them is much more challenging too. The base of the tank has a textured substrate, which should help to encourage the growth of any algae that manages to find its way into the tank, so I'm glad to see they've kept that design element. Let's set it up to see how well this works in practice. I've got low expectations for this tank, but despite the quality, it should still work fine. The 12-year-old pouches that it came with probably aren't viable anymore though, so I'm going to use a brand new starter kit for this setup today instead. The Marine Zoo doesn't have a water level fill line on the side, so I'm just going to take it a couple centimeters from the top. As always, I'm using distilled water, as it's my preferred option, but bottled spring water works well too. Next I need to add in packets number 1 and 2. Both of these pouches contain sea monkey eggs, so it's important to pour in the entire contents of both to make sure you get them all into the tank. I like to mix everything using an aqua leash, as it works really well to dissolve all of the salts. I'm going to keep the tank on this windowsill for the next few weeks while the sea monkeys hatch and grow. I like this spot because it only gets about an hour of direct sunlight in the morning, and then it's in the shade for the rest of the day. I'll also be adding in an air line with the small USB air pump to help with oxygenation and water circulation. Even though it's summer right now in New Zealand, it still gets a little chilly here at night, so this USB aquarium heater will help to keep the temperature stable. Lastly, I'll be using these purple grow lights to help promote the growth of algae within the tank. I'll leave a link in the description of this video for anybody who's interested in getting these accessories to help out with your own tanks at home. I'll check back in with you guys in a few weeks for an update on how things have gone. Hey guys, so it's been almost a whole month since setting up this tank, and I'm pleased to say the colony has grown really well. The warm weather we've had here these last few weeks has definitely helped to speed up the sea monkeys' development, because they seem to have reached adulthood really quickly. There are a couple of pairs mating, and even some newly born babies in the tank too. After using this tank for a few weeks, there are some things I've come to really love about it, and others which have bothered me a lot. The shape of the tank is fantastic. It's actually one of my favourite tank designs from a viewing perspective, because the lack of magnifying bubbles allows you to see the sea monkeys swimming really clearly. Algae hasn't really established at the bottom of the tank the way it usually does though. I'm not sure if that's because it hasn't had enough time yet, or if the texture down there is perhaps a little too smooth. There's also no denying that the tank does come with one huge downside, and as much as I've tried to ignore it, the poor quality has been really difficult to deal with. The tank doesn't really fit into the base properly, and the whole thing is so light and flimsy that I've been terrified of knocking it over. In fact, it's a miracle that I somehow haven't yet. It's a real shame, because if it wasn't for the low quality, I'd actually really like this tank, even more so than a regular ocean zoo. Let's just say I'm glad that Big Time Toys is no longer producing sea monkey products, as this really was a low point for the company. Fortunately, Drake and I, who are producing the sea monkey tanks now, have returned the brand back to its standard of a much higher quality. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I'll be giving away a Sea Monkey Ocean Zoo kit to one lucky viewer. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is leave a comment on this video, and I'll pick one random winner in 4 weeks from now and announce it over on my Instagram account. If you'd like to buy a Sea Monkey kit of your own, or any of the important accessories I mentioned in today's video, I've linked a handy Amazon link in the description of this video that has a bunch of affordable USB heaters, air pumps, grow lights, and of course Sea Monkey tanks too. Thanks for coming on this nostalgic journey with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.